Alright, so here we are,
Here we are,
doing a thing.
episode 1 of The Thing. Maybe that's what we should name it.
Just name the whole podcast The Thing.
Yeah, that sounds meta.
That's so bad. I really hope that's not what becomes of this.
Yeah, you're probably right. But in the meantime, since we don't have a name, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to The Thing.
Stop. Intros are...
You're right. We shouldn't have an intro. We should just jump right in because...
Intros are awful.
Yeah, intros are for TV shows, not for, because podcasts are like a conversation. And conversations don't start with an intro. You don't walk up to your friend, look at the camera, look at the invisible camera, and say, this week on, the friendship of Josh and Jared, that's not how this works. We should just not have an introduction.
But why not, though? Why don't I? I should just walk around in my life and start all of my conversations like I'm on a TV show and just look blankly away from the person and introduce everything and then start my conversation with them.
See, now I'm just imagining you, making a joke and suddenly waiting for the laugh track to come on. And Jared, it's not coming.
Yeah, because the joke was bad, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
Life is not a TV show. There is no sound Foley guy whose job it is to introduce a laugh track whenever you make a dumb joke. Right? That's not how life works. Unfortunately, you have to make good jokes in order to elicit laughter.
I think it works that way if you pay someone, so...
That's true.
It's a
so
choice.
I guess if you get rich enough, right, you cure cancer or whatever and sell it for $1 billion, you can hire some dude to carry around a boombox on his shoulder with a laugh track.
I love how that's always the thing.
Yeah.
You cured cancer. That's... Whoa! That's the big thing that we all...
That's true. That is kind of like what we treat as the greatest human achievement possible is curing cancer. And I feel like we also always treat it like it's something a person is going to do. And I'm like, science has kind of evolved at this point. There's not one dude sitting in a dark room somewhere who just magically solves a problem.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, right, that's not really how science works. It's teams of thousands of scientists and students who all work together to fix a thing.
That's true.
Right, it's more of an organization or a company that's going to cure cancer. It's not like one dude is just going to be pouring random things into a vat, stirring it around, and then magically he'll come upon the right one and be like, I did it! Eureka! I cured cancer, right? I don't think that's how science works anymore.
It might happen that way.
It
you
might.
can't prove that it won't.
That's true.
So therefore it might.
And if you do, I guarantee you will probably win some Nobel Prize of some kind.
No, I wasn't talking about me. I'm definitely not. I'm not smart enough. But I feel like we should at least say our names at this point.
Even though I kind of already did earlier.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
This week on the life of the friendship of. But yeah, so...
What you did?
I did, but it's okay. We can still
forgot.
introduce ourselves again, because I think that's more
I think
fun.
you're lying, so I'm gonna...
Okay,
My
go
name
for
is
it.
Jared. I'm Jared here. And we don't care about the other guys, so we're just gonna
That's
continue
true.
with the podcast now.
Yeah, no one cares about me. I'm Joshua, but that's okay, because no one cares.
I didn't want you to say your name.
Yeah,
I thought
but I
you
did it
understood
anyway.
that. Okay, whatever. Fine.
I am
Fine! Some people.
I am a rebel of a co-host, Jared. I will not always follow you blindly into the darkness. I will not go quietly into the night.
This is... Alright. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and just get started off with a real topic here. So, I want to talk about New Year's resolutions.
Oh, no.
Because here we are.
Oh, no.
We're in the midst of February right now.
Uh-huh.
Most of America has already dropped off. Any
Mhm.
New Year's resolutions that have been made have been failed at. And even if they made it all the way through January, it's probably still not happening right now.
Oh, man. See, Jared, for you listeners who don't know this, Jared, this was his surprise topic. I had no idea this was coming. And yeah, it's a good thing he made this a surprise topic, because otherwise I would have told him no.
Right.
And so, yeah, good on you. You knew
Right.
you
He
had
doesn't get
you
to-
had to spring this on me, otherwise it wouldn't work. Okay.
Exactly.
What do you want me to say? I don't do New Year's resolutions. I think
No,
they're
you
silly.
did this year though. That's why we're going to talk about it.
I didn't do a New Year's resolution. That's not. That's I didn't.
You kind of did.
I didn't do. I did a.
You
challenge.
tried to not relate it, but it is related slightly.
It's okay. So listeners, what I did, and I roped several people, including Jared, into doing this with me. Was I decided that it was time to try and get at least a little bit more healthy. And so I happened to be, as I was being a couch potato one night in late December, surfing through YouTube, I happened upon, the algorithm apparently thought I was getting a little too fat and suggested this fitness challenge video. And I was like, oh, that looks vaguely interesting. I'll watch it. Why not? And so it was these two slightly nerdy, not necessarily like overweight gentlemen, but just, kind of, stayed clearly don't work outside kind of people. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of like me and Jared. Okay. And
wow.
although ironically enough, you did work out. You used to work outside. I think
that's
you still
true.
Do.
No, currently.
Okay, but that we can talk about that in another episode. See, cliffhanger, people. You gotta
whatever. This is not that interesting. But I do want to go back to something you just mentioned a second ago.
Okay.
Do you honestly think the YouTube algorithm was like, you're getting too fat? Here is a fitness video. Like,
no.
Okay.
I don't know how the algorithm suggested this video. I don't know why. I think I was watching like some game theory or film theory, right? But like I don't know why YouTube's algorithm suggested it to me. I don't think it's because they thought I was fat or whatever.
So this health video just comes up.
It just happened to come up. Yeah.
But you never watch health videos.
I never watch health videos, but this one happened to come up, and of course this is the one that I was like, you know what? Actually, like the title got me, and the title was like the name of the challenge, but. Yeah, and so it was just these two guys.
Oh, that's why it came up. It was just a challenge buzz thing.
It was some buzz challenge thing that was apparently going viral, I guess, and YouTube was like, here, let's show it to Josh. Maybe he'll want to do it. And they got me. Like, the algorithm
Wait,
did
so
its
what was
job
the
well.
challenge they proposed?
So the challenge they proposed was actually exactly what we ended up doing, which was for 1 month, do 100 push-ups a day. And you don't have to do them all at once, but just, from when you wake up to when you go to bed, do 100 push-ups, whether that's in like 4 sets of 25 or more in my case, 10 sets of 10. But just do 100 push-ups a day for an entire month and just kind of see what happens. And so, like, I looked at it and I was like, okay, this is something that I might actually be able to do because it doesn't involve some mega dietary change that I'm going to hate. It doesn't involve going to the gym or getting some kind of equipment or membership or, a whole bunch of stuff where I'm like, yeah, no, I'm never going to do this. But this one was like, do 100 push-ups, like, just eventually throughout the day. And I was like, okay, this seems accomplishable, but I'm not going to be able to do it alone. So I was like, I texted a couple of my friends. My dad ended up doing it with me, as well as Jared and a few other friends. And so we did it. But that's not a New Year's resolution. That's just a challenge.
Okay, did the video did the video advertise it as a New Year's resolution?
No, the video did not have anything to do with the beginning of the year. I just happened to see it in December, and I was like,
so why didn't you start right in December?
Because I wanted to start at the beginning of the month.
Okay. And
it was like December 20-something.
So it coincidentally coincided.
Yeah, it was totally coincidental that it seemed like a New Year's resolution, even though it totally wasn't.
So it wasn't at all.
Yeah, and the other thing is, it's not even lasting all year, right? Like, the month is over, and we're still doing it. We edited it a little bit for February. We changed it up.
That's true.
We're now doing different exercises depending on the day, but we're still only taking it 1 month at a time. It's not a New Year's resolution. I didn't wake up on January 1st and go, I resolve that I will be healthier, right? I didn't do that because that's silly.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Why is that silly?
Because I think that there's a couple things wrong with that particular one that I think a lot of people do, the whole, like, I will be healthier. First of all, that's so vague that it almost means nothing, right? Like, I will be healthier. Okay, I'm gonna eat half of the ice cream that I used to, right? Oh, yeah, I'm being healthier, right? Like, oh, I'm going to eat one less bite of this pizza. Like, oh, I'm being healthier. I fulfilled my resolution.
Wait, nobody goes around making resolutions like those.
What?
That seems outrageous.
Dude,
No, do people go around saying, I'm not going to have one bite of this pizza?
No. Oh. But people make the resolution of, I will be healthier this year. Right. But I'm saying that's so vague.
You can't actually achieve
it. It's inconsequential.
Right. And I think I agree with you on that one, actually, that it's too vague. You're not actually going to achieve it. It becomes such a huge goal that really has no goals.
Yeah.
And you just don't do it.
Yeah. Right, because I think that when you make a goal like, I will be healthier, what's in your head is you're saying, I'm going to turn into a bodybuilder, and I'm just going to be this epic beast by the end of the year. And then you realize how that's not really possible because you're a couch potato, and it takes more than 1 year to turn from a couch potato into a bodybuilder, and everybody just gives up. And so that's why I think that, like, New Year's resolutions in general are just kind of dumb.
Alright, so it just kind of panned out that way, and New Year's resolutions are kind of dumb. But are they really? Like, I feel like you can kind of flip things around and, like, motivate yourself. Be like, this is a new year. I'm going to do new things. But you have to decide what those new things are very specifically.
Yes.
All these vague resolutions are what gives New Year's resolutions a bad name. But in my opinion, New Year's resolutions are actually a great idea. You should, like, try to be better the next year.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that, so, I mean, I think that New Year's resolutions, as the general population of America does them, are dumb. But I agree. Like, there are circumstances in which a New Year's resolution could be a good idea. And if you do it right, it can be good. Like, if you do something like, I want to, by the end of the year, be able to do 50 push-ups in a row without stopping, right? Like, that is an actionable New Year's resolution that's really attainable. It's really something that you could actually do in a year. And then when you've done it, you know you've done it. There's an actual end goal. Whereas, like, I'm going to be healthier doesn't actually have an end to it.
Yeah, you can't.
Right, like, there's no...
It's kind of unachievable.
Yeah, right, like, or, I'm going to be a better person. Right? Like, we all have heard that one. That's, like, the most popular. I'm going to be a better person this year. What does that even mean? What kind of resolution is that?
Whatever you want it to mean.
Yeah, like, that's so vague. It is essentially nothing. You have essentially said nothing. That's what you've resolved to do. Be a better person. Better by what metric? Better by whose standards? And, like, better by how much? Right? Like, you have defined nothing there. That sentence is meaningless.
Yeah, that's true. There's nothing there. You just can't get anywhere with that. You just won't. You don't even know what you're trying to get to. Yeah. You're just like, I want to get to a thing. Yeah. And that's all you've said.
Yeah.
Like, there is some kind of idea of, like, yes, you're trying to be better, but not in any quantifiable way. You're just like...
I agree. I think that's the right word. It's not quantifiable. Right? And so, therefore, it's not usable. Yeah.
Right. So, I say we take this moment to just tell America to, like, actually do New Year's resolutions and not do these crappy, vague... Could you imagine if we all actually did real New Year's resolutions, set goals, like, as the years go on,
that would be fantastic.
People would actually become better people. What a concept.
Yeah. Right, like, what if we were to all resolve, this year, I'm going to cure cancer?
No, that's not what I was saying. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, Jared, I think you're right. People, listeners, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we need to do. Like, we're already into 2018, but maybe for 2019, that will be the year that we all resolve.
You can't
to stay in our dark basements, pouring random objects into vials until one of us happens upon the magical cure for cancer.
I don't support this at all. There are going to be so many explosions in so many basements. It's just going to be like...
Yeah. Well, especially considering the part of America where we live in, no one has a basement. There are no basements in Florida. That's not a thing anybody has. So that's fine though. We're just putting it on the rest of the country.
So I guess Florida, and then we're not going to be curing cancer around here.
Yeah, so we're exempt. Cool. We don't have to have that resolution hanging over our heads of like, what am I doing to help the world cure cancer? I'm calling all of our listeners to help cure it. That's what I'm doing.
I don't think everybody needs to work on curing cancer. Like, I think maybe some people should be working on it, and they probably already are.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's true.
We're working on it.
We're really trying really hard.
There are people trying very hard, so.
Yeah, that's true. And then, I mean, that's not even mentioning all of the complications, which I feel like we're going to see in all the feedback is a bunch of people telling us, like, all the things we don't know about cancer. But I do want to at least go over, like, we do understand, like, cancer is not, like, one disease with one magical cure. Right? Like, there's going to be a different cure and different treatment depending on what kind of cancer it is. Like the general term cancer does not really refer to one disease, right? It's just, like, It just means that like stuff has gone wrong in a part of your body. That's all that cancer really means. Like the specifics of it all require different cures and different treatments. So like we're not going to find one magical panacea cure to all of cancer.
Yeah. But I actually do want to talk about something you just mentioned.
Okay.
I want to talk about feedback.
Okay.
Because at this point, we actually have not named the show.
That's true.
We have not decided exactly where feedback is going to be. But
Yeah.
by the time this comes out, that shall be all sorted.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure for feedback, I'm going to go with a subreddit, at least
Okay.
off the bat.
Yeah, I think that's good.
And that will
We
be
can
the
put that-
main way that you can contact us.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get some kind of name, maybe, by the end of the episode even, so that we can
By
be
the
like,
end of the episode,
name
oh my.
the subreddit.
Well, we could just name it "Everybody Go Cure Cancer."
No,
I think that's
no,
what we should
I,
do.
I totally protest such an... Just, no.
Fine. We can name it New Year's Resolutions, Jared. That's what we can
Let's
name
not name it that either. Can you just...
No.
Just think
you're
about what you've done right now. Just think about those awful things, ideas you're proposing. Think
See,
about it.
Yeah, but this is my job. I'm that co-host
No,
on this podcast.
just-
I'm the one that will rally the people. I will rally the people against I don't know.
No, they're
Whatever
going to
we're
all
gonna
agree
rally
with me. They're going to be like, Josh is an idiot. And,
Yeah.
you know, Jared is totally right on this. He's just being dumb right now to me. So,
Yeah, but
sorry.
that's
They're
what I
going to
do.
support me on this.
Okay, maybe you're right.
And then some people are going to be, like, sympathetic to you. And they're going to
Yeah,
be like, why are
exactly.
you being so mean to Josh?
Because I'm the cute one, and I'm the one everybody loves.
Nobody knows if you're cute or not.
Trust me, people. I'm cute.
Oh, my God.
I am a podcaster.
Let me
You
just-
can trust me.
Tell you that is a complete and utter lie. All right, so let's move on. Hopefully, we get to, a subreddit name together to
Yeah.
tell you where to go. But yeah, if not, there's just going to be no feedback for the first episode, and I guess that's just how it's going to
Well,
be.
we can put it in the second episode, and so when the second episode comes out, people can give us feedback for the first 2 episodes.
Oh, but then it's so old. I'm just kidding. No, it's fine. We'll get there.
We will.
We'll see what happens. We still have some time, you know.
Yeah.
So it could happen.
Who knows? I mean, we're only... That's true. You know, that is something we haven't talked about, and maybe we do or don't want to talk about this on the podcast, but how long do we want our podcast to be?
Just gonna tease those people right now. Like, you're not.
Yeah.
Let's just like not talk about this on the podcast, even though you just brought up a topic.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I like
yeah,
it.
I
Okay.
think it was a good idea.
So yeah, we'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. So we can cut this part out then.
No, we're gonna leave it.
Oh, okay.
They have to hear that.
Oh.
Like,
All right. Yeah. See, yeah, that's true. They have to hear that I'm the cute dumb one who makes mistakes sometimes. Yeah.
well, it's not a
Nobody's perfect.
mistake. I think it's great.
Okay.
I think they just have to like be like, why are they just not talking about a thing while kind of talking about a thing? That's really annoying.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah. You're being the annoying one though. Like, remember, people, I'm the cute one that you love.
No, you're enjoying this too. Okay. So,
Yes, I am.
well, let's just tell everybody right now that, you know, this is just a great podcast. Like, as far as amateur podcasts go, I mean,
That's true.
this is just,
Yeah.
I think this is the one. Like,
Yeah,
if
this
you're
is
gonna
the one.
choose amateur podcasts to listen to,
Mhm.
I don't think there's like that.
Yeah.
There's not very many good ones out there, and
I
our
agree.
quality is not, you know, audio wise is fine. It's,
Yeah.
it's acceptable, and
Yeah.
our content is pretty good. So,
Yeah.
as far as amateurs go, I think for this first 20 minutes of podcasting, I'd say that
Yeah.
we're doing pretty good. Like, this is the place to
agree.
go for amateur podcasting.
That's true. I think you're right, Jared, and I think what you're exemplifying here, the principle that you are using to our advantage, is fantastic, and I think that's the next topic. So we should talk about that. But yeah, remember, guys, this is the Awesome Podcast, and I have been using this principle earlier when I called myself the cute one, because so the principle that Jared is using and we're alluding to is the idea that the first side you hear is the one you agree with. And so what we're talking about is, like, if you start in the position of neutral, right? And Jared's now smiling at me because I'm making hand motions to go along with this, even though this is a podcast and no one can see me. But that's okay. So if you start in the position of neutral about a thing because you have never heard of it before, like this podcast, which you have never heard before, so you are in the position of neutral. And then the first thing that you hear, or, you know, pretty early on in the episode, is this is an awesome podcast. By default, you will at some level agree with that because you have no reason to disagree. And so now you are all the way on, you are, you know, teetering towards the side of agreeing and saying, yeah, this podcast is awesome. And so then if anyone tries to tell you, no, this podcast is terrible, you are immediately already on our side. And so they have their work it'll be very hard to convince you that the podcast is terrible.
Well, taking the fact that they believed us or not when we first started that, they might have just been like, these guys are full of themselves, this is the worst podcast ever. And if they were saying that...
No one would say that. Of course they wouldn't say that.
Well, yeah, because it's not the worst. That's like
Exactly.
literally impossible considering we're the best amateur podcast.
Exactly. Best amateur podcast ever. Yeah, that's not hyperbole at all, people. That is definitely the truth, right? Just like I'm the cutest podcaster ever. Yeah.
Right, you're just going to keep hammering that one in.
Exactly.
And I'm going to keep telling them that's a lie.
Yeah, see, but because I spoke first, most of you are still on my side about this and think Jared's the bad guy who wants to say that I'm ugly, but he's wrong. I'm cute.
And I think you're totally right about that, actually. I think more people would be on your side about this than me.
Because I brought it up first, and their immediate thought was, oh, okay, because they started at neutral and then shifted towards, oh yeah, Josh is the cute one, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so then you have your work cut out for you to try and shift them all the way over to the other side of, no, Josh isn't cute. Like, good luck with that. It's not going to work because I got to them first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's totally how this principle works.
But why does that work out that way?
I'm not totally clear on it. Obviously, like, neither of us are like psychologists or totally understand the human brain, but my suspicion is that because if you're starting in a place of neutral, then it doesn't take a lot of effort to get the ball rolling, right? It's kind of like in physics where, like,
if a ball is moving the other direction and then you want it to move, like, if it was moving right and now you want it to move left, it's harder than if it was just sitting there.
Right, because I think that, like, starting it off is easier and then you have momentum going for you. And so in order to get it to not, like, reverse directions is a lot harder than getting it to start in the first place.
It's true.
Right, so I think that, like, human brains work like physics. That makes sense.
Probably to some. It's just a metaphor, but
yeah.
But they definitely would have a thing about when we see things for the first time.
Yeah.
Or no, it's when we become more accustomed to a thing that we like it more. As we see it more times or hear it more times, we like get stuck on that thing.
Yeah.
So in that case, we would hear, you know, this podcast is great. I've heard nothing about this podcast before. They keep telling me it's great multiple times in a row in the matter of 2 minutes. You know, maybe it is. Like, they keep saying this, and so maybe I should keep listening. Maybe I should see if there's actually something to this, or if they're just lying to me. Like,
yeah, and I think we can help that along by just having, like, a subliminal message recording going along with the entire length of the podcast of you and me just taking turns. This podcast is great.
In the background, like, really quietly.
Just in the background, really quietly, so that totally subconsciously they're just hearing it repeated over and over again. How great this podcast is.
I'm definitely gonna add that in.
Yeah, we should add that in, and then, you know, props to all the people on the subreddit who can find it. Good luck to you. We're gonna hide it really well.
Yeah,
but you'll feel its effects.
Right. It definitely will be there. Definitely will be there.
Gonna be in there.
You should look for it.
If you find it, we will. I don't know. If you can find it, maybe there will be a prize. We'll send you a digital high five or something.
Yeah.
We'll just it'll like that old, like, trope in TV shows of, like, faxing, like, a picture of, like, if you, like, someone sitting on the fax machine and, like, taking fax, like, copying of their butt, but we'll copy our hand, giving you a high five, and then you can just, like, high five the piece of paper. That's what we'll email you, is just a picture of our hands, so that we're, like, giving you a digital high five.
No. I'm sorry, I can't support this anymore. This has gone too far off the rails. Just, like, no. Never. I'm so
stuck.
Wow. No, okay. Whatever. We'll just move on to another topic, I guess.
Okay.
Because you said this topic will take a little while. So
yes.
Let's see how this goes.
Okay.
We can do some editing there.
So-
or not, if I just want them to sit there in awkward silence. That would be interesting.
Yeah, except for all of our future listeners when we finally get on like the big podcasting apps that have that feature where you can trim the silence.
I hate those people.
Well, no, those
I'm just
people are
kidding.
great. I'm
No,
one
it's
of
a great
those
idea.
people.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's like genius.
It's genius because now podcasts don't take as long, right?
Right.
I have saved hours and hours of my life by
Have you
using
really?
the silence trimming.
What's
Yeah,
your amount on there?
I can pull it up.
It
That's
pulls
the
you-
other thing.
yeah.
Like, I can pull it up and just look at like how much time it has saved. 7 hours and 23.9 minutes.
That's
of
really
silence
good,
has been
actually.
trimmed, and that's just I got this app like a month ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. 7
So-
hours of your life. That's like a whole sleep.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That's
nice.
that is a nice.
Saved
that is
a lot
really
of
nice
sleeping
nap.
time.
I know. So now it's now it's time for my surprise topic for Jared. Jared, I'm gonna send you this picture.
It's just not right. I mean, I'm kind of leading this, and I get a surprise topic,
Yeah.
but it's not. I was like, should I just make him tell me the topic beforehand? Because
No, you can't do that. No. We want to hear.
just fine.
We want to
fine.
hear your initial.
I think
reactions.
I should have
I
got a
think-
surprise one, and you shouldn't have. But
Well, it's not really a surprise. Like I gave you the title of it. You know what it's about. I just want to get your initial reaction on this
vaguely
thing.
know what it's about. Whatever.
Yeah.
Let's
So
hear
I'm
it.
gonna send you this picture. So a friend of mine.
Goodness.
So for the listeners, so Jared, while you're looking at this and reading what's on this flyer, so a friend of mine is going to a college, and she sent me this picture of something that was hanging up like in the courtyard or whatever, and this is a thing that the school is doing, I guess, to raise money or whatever, or just kind of for funsies. And so the poster reads Shakespeare Grams this Valentine's Day, 10 to 2 p.m. Contact, and then I blurred out the email address. So if you want to put this picture in the show notes, or
Okay.
whenever we figure out how to do that, we can.
Okay.
And then it says $2 sonnets. And so, Jared, I want to know, after reading just this poster, what do you think this is?
This is a
how do you
great
think this
idea.
works?
I would buy one immediately.
Oh, yeah. And that was immediately how I responded to my friend. She was like, what? I was just showing you this because I thought it was dumb and funny. I was like, what are you talking about? $2 sonnets? This sounds great. I'll buy 4.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
But I want to know, Jared, how do you think this works? Like, what are you getting for the $2?
Oh, man.
Based off
I
of
don't-
just this poster.
This is really interesting. I feel like if you contact them, they would be like, tell me their name, or maybe like what your relationship level is, and
Okay.
then like let me, and then they write the sonnet for you.
Yeah.
And then they like go, either I assume they give it to you to perform.
Okay.
It does, for $2, I
Yeah.
don't think they are performing them for you. So
Yeah. So,
that's what it sounds like to me.
okay.
You
and that-
tell them some vague information. They write a little sonnet. They give it to you.
Yep.
You read it to them.
And that is exactly what I thought it was. And that was like, I'll take 4, right? Like,
Right.
I'll do something
for the
with these
next
sonnets.
4 years
I
or
don't
whatever.
even
No, I'm
care.
just kidding.
Like, I just think this is too funny to pass up on. Like, my curiosity is piqued. I want to try it. I'll buy 4 of these sonnets. I'll give you random names. Like, I don't care. Like, I just want
Right.
to know, like, what are these
What are you
sonnets
gonna write?
be? What are they gonna write, right? Like, and so that is what I thought that it was. But it turns out that's completely wrong. That's not at all how
Oh.
it works. So then what we figured out was that, so our next attempt, so I asked my friend, okay, she was like, so how does this work? And she was like, I'm not really sure. I was just sending this as a joke. Like, I didn't think this was actually going to happen. I was like, no, find out. How does this work?
I really
Like,
want
I really
to know.
want to know. How does this work? So then she was like, okay. So she went and like looked up some details about it, and then we were like, okay. So it looks like how it actually works is you pay the $2, and like that's the reason why the timing is in there. So on Valentine's Day, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., there will be a dude dressed up as Shakespeare who will be walking around performing sonnets for the people who bought them. Like, so you buy a sonnet, give the name and like location and time of the person you want it to, and so this person dressed up as Shakespeare will walk up to them and then perform a sonnet that you wrote.
No, what?
Yeah, and I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever.
Wait,
I was like,
wait,
I
you
was so
write the
disappointed.
sonnet,
Yeah, that
and
was what we
he-
were. Yeah, so I was like, this is so disappointing. I was so disappointed, and then I was like, wait a minute, how many of these can I buy? And because I have another friend who goes there, who I'm like, it would be so much fun to prank him, and so So what I realized was like, wait a second,
This is great.
Could be perfect. So
That's
my
hilarious.
new plan, like I was like, change of plans. I'm still buying one no matter what, but change of plans. Let's still buy 4. I'll write 4 ridiculously sappy love poems and have them delivered all throughout the day to this guy as he's going around campus.
Yes,
Right. And
that
so
is
like
perfect.
every hour this Shakespeare dude comes back to him and says, I have another sonnet for you from, your anonymous friend. Right? And so like, he's just getting pestered by this dude in Shakespeare
That's
garb
amazing.
with these sappy love poems that I've written, right? I'm like, this is fantastic. This will be the greatest prank ever. Right? And I'm telling my friend, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing this. Like, why would you ever I'm like, because I'm me. Like, this is, of course, why wouldn't you do this, right? Like, it's only $2.
That's great.
It's only $2. So then this morning, I got more clarification, and you do not write the sonnet. They just grab a random sonnet from one that Shakespeare himself has written, and then perform that one. And I'm like, okay, that's slightly less good, but
Right.
also slightly less work, because I don't have to write them.
That's true.
But it's still the same thing. It's still a dude walks up, says, I have, so it's kind of like a candygram, but it's a Shakespeare gram. And the dude will just walk up and say, I have a sonnet for you. And then read a random sonnet from Shakespeare. And
That's
I'm like,
hilarious.
this is going to be great. So I told my friend, I was like, buy me 4 of them. Send them all to this guy. Like, and so, yeah.
This is
Valentine's Day.
kind of a genius idea, actually, because this guy is going to make money. Like, he is going to,
Oh, yeah.
like,
The
people are going to be
Shakespeare
doing
dude's
it
gonna
a
make
lot.
Yeah.
And he is taking 4 hours, but he's going to be getting, like, probably, I imagine he could at least do 50 an hour or so. Maybe
Maybe less.
30.
Yeah.
But if he could do like 30 an hour,
That's
is incredible.
$60
Yeah.
an hour. Yeah. No,
That's
this
like-
guy is making bank, and I'm happy to pay him. Right.
Right.
Like, if I can
it's a genius
schedule
idea.
these spread out, but can you just imagine that, like, spread out throughout the day? Like, you're in class, going from class to class, and then just every time you come out of your class, Shakespeare himself is waiting for you with another sonnet from an anonymous, an anonymous friend, right? And he's gonna have no idea it's me. And this is where it gets even better. And I'm like, this could be even better, because I'm traveling to this college on later on in February after Valentine's Day, and so and I'm going to be hanging out with him and a couple other of my friends that go to this college. So I'm spending the weekend there, and I'm just imagining we're going to be sitting down at dinner, and he's going to be like, Josh, you won't believe what happened to me on Valentine's Day, and I'll somebody bought me 4 sonnets and had them delivered throughout the day. I was pestered by the Shakespeare guy to no end, and I was like, oh wow, that's amazing. Can't believe that happened to you. Gee. Right? Like, I'm just imagining, like, this is gonna be the greatest thing ever because it's totally anonymous. He would never suspect me, right? I'm 3 hours away. Like, he doesn't know I know anything about this.
Exactly.
He's never gonna suspect me. This is gonna be amazing.
That sounds great.
Right. So I can't wait to hear how it goes down, like, on Valentine's Day, because I have my spies at college, like, they're going to be watching. Like,
You're gonna be.
hilarious.
That's hilarious.
I'm hoping to get recordings. I don't think I'll be able to pull it off, but I'm hoping if I can get any kind of pictures or videos of it actually happening to him, because the other thing is, like, he's not a very romantic dude, and so, like, this is going to annoy the crap out of him. Like, he's gonna hate this, especially on sonnet number 4. I'm, like, imagining, like, the 4th one will be, like, the peak level of annoyance, but
Right.
just before, like, being actually making him angry.
Yeah,
Right.
I know who you're talking about, and he's gonna be annoyed. And
Yeah.
it's gonna be great.
It's gonna drive him nuts, right? And so I can't wait to hear from everybody who knows it was me, but he doesn't know it's me, like, texting me like, you can't believe, like, it worked so well, goodness, Josh, you're a genius, right? And then later when I go and see him, right, I'm like, if I can keep this secret, like, this will be fantastic.
That's actually, it started off as like a legitimate product, and I was thinking, oh,
Yeah.
you'd be romantic with your special, whoever, you can
Yeah.
have them write a thing for you,
Yeah.
or then it was like, oh, you can write your own thing and have
Yeah.
it performed for you,
Mhm.
and then it was like, no, he's just doing dressed up Shakespeare,
Yep.
just Shakespeare sonnets,
Yep.
and you're just like, this is not romantic anymore. Like, it could be
Yeah.
be okay,
Yeah.
like, but it's just not as good.
Yeah.
Not in any way. So it's like now
Yeah.
a totally different product in my mind, and
Yeah.
I'm like, but this is still a product
Exactly.
worth buying. Like,
Exactly. Yeah, right. So like, you see my joy. I was like, and so yeah, but yeah. So that's why I wanted to be surprised, because I wanted to hear from you. Like, what do you think this poster says? And like, this poster does not describe it accurately.
Right, not at all. You're just.
No.
And I mean,
Sonnet's
when
$2.
if I get
right?
this-
like, I'm buying a sonnet. That's what I thought I was buying. But
and I mean, if
apparently
I get this into the show notes, this is. I mean, if you just look at this thing, it's so vague. There's
Yeah.
just nothing there. You're
Yeah.
like, Shakespeare grams, this Valentine's Day, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Contact this person, $2 sonnets. That's all you get.
Yeah.
And it's like, picture of Shakespeare with some hearts over his eyes.
Yeah,
Like,
right, like,
what does that even mean? I mean, I guess they're gonna write sonnets for me to perform.
Yeah.
That's what you would think.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Because I'm like, I'm not very poetic, right? I can't write good poetry. Right?
Exactly.
Like, if I was writing the sonnets, I would just copy paste them, right? I would just like Google search sappiest love poem ever, right? And then just copy paste that and be like, this is my sonnet.
You're
right?
the worst romantic ever.
Yeah, I am. That's why I'm still single, right?
Well, anyway, this is great though.
Yeah.
I mean, I just love whoever came up. I wish I could meet them. Like, just whoever came up with this idea, that's kind of amazing, honestly.
Mhm.
Just, I'm gonna dress up as Shakespeare, deliver Shakespeare's sonnets to people who pay me a couple bucks.
I know.
That's
And
just
I'm
like the best thing you could do with your Valentine's Day, unless you actually have
yeah,
somebody to spend
exactly. Right. I'm
Valentine's Day
like
with.
that guy is embracing his
But-
singleness and using it for
Well,
commercial gain.
But it's also 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., which
That's
is
true.
not prime Valentine's
That's
Day
true.
time. Like right after that would be about.
Yeah.
So
No, that's true. So maybe he is.
it could be
just-
both. This guy could
Yeah.
just be really awesome
Yeah.
all the way around.
That's true. Maybe he's like, I'm gonna do this, and I will have so many great, either funny stories or romantic stories from this day to share with my girlfriend as we go to dinner tonight. Right? Like this guy could be very romantic.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I'll get a chance to meet this Shakespeare guy, when I go up to visit the college. So who knows, ladies and gentlemen. Be ready for part 2, right? The continuing story of the Valentine sonnets
Mhm.
could get very interesting.
I really wonder what he looks like. Once we start getting some pictures and videos of this
Yeah.
happening,
Yeah.
we should throw some of this up there.
I think you're right. I think we should
So?
figure out how to do that.
I actually don't know how to do show notes at this point. I mean, I guess I could always throw it in the subreddit, but that just seems like the most awful way to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get. Yeah, like that's not the best way, but I don't know. It's not terrible.
We'll see what happens.
We shall see.
So that's very interesting. I was honestly expecting something a little different because I was teased about this topic with the Valentine's sonnet. That was the title of the topic,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, this could be so many things.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like something romantic weird that have happened with you, like with somebody, or it could be, I don't know. There's
Yeah.
like all kinds of things that can mean,
Mhm.
but they all seem great. For
Yeah.
somehow you just know it's going to be a
Yeah.
good topic.
Yep. I
Um,
was like, this is a good title.
and it fulfilled its end of the bargain. But I was very speculative when it was just like the Valentine sonnet. What could that even possibly be? And just start thinking about all the things that could be. But now that I know, it was very worth hearing about. That's awesome. I really like this guy. I need to see some pictures of this guy performing.
I will see what I can do. Hopefully, I will be able to get pictures.
So I think now we'll shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and go into the next topic, which is
Okay, hold up. Before we get started on this one, I think that you came up with a wonderful title for this topic, and you need to share it with
okay.
the listeners.
All right.
I think you need to introduce it with its title
So
because it's so good.
This is a topic that's had. All right. So the topic title is Jared's Light Portable Computing Device Adventure. All right. So
Best title. We should name the podcast that.
no, that's the most barbose, disgusting name for a podcast. Like, and it has nothing to do with it. It's just that's okay. This is the third awful idea you proposed.
Yeah.
Maybe we could actually get something good sooner or later here, but See what happens. You have to keep missing to get a hit, right?
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. You miss 100% of the shots you never take, right? That's what Kendrick Lamar or whoever said, right?
Whoever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just...
Some rapper said that, right?
You're just saying things now.
Yeah, no, I know it wasn't a rapper. It was like a basketball player. I just wanted to incinerate things on the subreddit.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's awful.
I'm eliciting feedback.
All right.
We want to engage our audience. I'm giving
what
them
audience?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
No. So Jared's light portable computing device adventure. So this is the start of the adventure, like right now. I'm currently at the very, very beginning of this adventure because I have an Alienware 17 laptop, and that is my main computer and my only computer, and it is just heavy, very, very heavy. It works fine for being at home, but transportation wise, I did not look forward enough into the future to know that this would just be so annoying to haul around wherever I go whenever I need a computing device with me. If I'm like going to the college and I need to do some homework that day, to bring an Alienware 17 with me is just heavy and barbose and annoying and just annoying. It's just so annoying. I couldn't say that enough times. So it's annoying. But I now am interested in finding a nice, light device of really any kind. I'm leaving it very, very open. The main qualifications are it needs to run a browser quickly and needs to have capabilities of using Adobe Flash for some of my homework websites. So that's mainly it, though. I'm pretty much open to anything else as far as it goes. I'm looking at iPads. I'm looking at MacBooks. I'm looking at Android tablets, Windows, light Windows laptops. I'm just looking all around, and I just really, I don't know. I can't quite decide, because for the longest time I've been heavy Android and Windows.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, Apple is so proprietary. I'm going to have no overlap here. Like, it's going to be really hard blending these two things to work together.
Yeah.
Like, using my phone and my MacBook and my Alienware 17 would just be a nightmare, I feel like. I'm not sure if it's going to be that bad, but it just feels like it has the potential of just being absolutely horrifying to me when I'm trying to blend things over, and there's just literally no way of getting this thing onto this other device. And you're just like, really, Apple? Did you have to be like that? Did we have to do it this way, guys? Can't we all just work together? But no, the answer will be no, and that's just how it is. So but at the same time, MacBooks and iPads are beautiful.
They are.
They're just beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
true.
When you just look at it, you're just like, I want one. I want one.
Yeah.
And this is even harder because their stuff is much more expensive than Android and Windows.
Yeah.
So you're just paying for that. You're paying for the look and the
feel.
The feel.
It's the
right.
feel.
You're right.
The entire experience. Like, the feel of the whole thing, right? That comes down to the look, like the build quality, even, right? The operating system. Like, Apple's whole thing is like, our devices just have this feel about them, this like aura that's not necessarily like quantifiable in like a set, like, oh yeah, the reason why Apples are good is because of this particular mechanic or this particular thing. But like, that's not, it's just like it's this one big package, right, that makes it a MacBook, that just makes it feel right.
So
that's expensive.
That's why they're so tempting. And the other hard thing about this whole adventure right now is that I don't have an income currently, which is sad.
Yeah.
But So you just can't. I can't justify because technically I can still use my Alienware.
Mm.
It's just much more annoying, but I can use it.
Yeah.
Fully fine. I can bring it where I need to go. It's just kind of annoying. But since I have no income, I just feel like I can't justify buying a MacBook at $400, a used MacBook even.
That's a really good deal.
So that's like, I mean, it's still a good deal, but it's just, I just can't see myself spending that much money with no income. That's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's understandable. Like, one thing, this is clear, like, I looked up the actual weight of your Alienware 17, and as the late 2015 model, it is just over 8 pounds.
Oh.
Which, that's a
awful.
lot of weight.
That is
right?
awful.
Like, that's not, like, and it's funny because, like, if you think about it, like, yeah, but like, if you are lifting weights or whatever, right? Like, an 8-pound weight doesn't feel like anything until you carry it around on your back all day in your backpack, and then you, like, pull it out and hold it on your lap, right? And you see how, like, big and general, like,
oh, see, I actually don't do
laptop
that. It's not in my backpack. It's in its own case, and I carry it.
Ooh, that sounds even worse, actually.
Yeah, like, I carry it by my side.
Oh, man.
By a handle.
Okay.
Which is literally the worst way you could do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that sounds even worse.
But the problem was, I lost the strap for the case.
Oh, no. Oh.
It might be laying around somewhere, but unfortunately, I really don't know where.
Yeah, so yeah, lugging around an 8-pound behemoth is not fun.
It's not fun. But it's not incredible distances between where I'm carrying it from. So it's just like,
yeah, I
can totally handle this. It's pretty annoying, but I can handle it, and it's fine.
Okay.
But it's just so annoying.
Yeah. Right. And this is where I think like you're right that, like, because what you have is usable, right? And so, like, there's not a real reason to upgrade other than, like, convenience and happiness, and, like, there are good reasons to upgrade, but not with, like, there are good reasons to use expendable income to upgrade, right? And so, like, and since you don't really have any kind of expendable money at the moment, like, maybe don't buy one now, but I don't think that should stop you from looking into and thinking about what is right. I am a big fan of looking forward to what you need next. Now, there's a rough balance with that because we want to stay content with what we have, but there is also a time to look for, okay, how can I improve and what would be better, right? If I was going to buy something, what would I buy? And that helps with a couple of things. From a purely practical standpoint, it helps because now you know exactly what you're looking for, and you can, if it goes on some super mega Black Friday sale, you can renegotiate and be like, well, at this price, maybe I am willing to upgrade, right? And you know what you're looking for, and you can watch the price of that thing and see what it's going to do, right? So, like, I think it's perfectly valid to think through what you're going to buy next, even if you're, like, 6, 8, 12 months away from what you're going to buy next. Because with phones, I don't really recommend anything unless you're willing to buy in the next, like, 3 months. Like, because phones change all the time. There are new phones coming out, like, every week. But computers don't really change that much, right? Like, they change, like, once a year. They're still on that kind of timeline where, like, if you can think 6 months ahead with a computer. You really can't with a phone because you don't know what's going to be out in 6 months with a phone.
Yeah.
But computers, you know roughly what's going to be around in 6 months, and you know what you're looking for, you know the specifications you need, and that's not really going to change.
Yeah, that's true. And the other thing is, I look at the Windows laptops, and they just aren't nearly as appealing.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
fair.
But it's $200
yeah.
for the same quality equipment, and I'm just like,
it's hard. It's really hard.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I was in almost the exact same position a year ago, where I had my laptop I was in a little bit more of a dire situation since my laptop was pretty much completely unusable. I
Isn't it currently?
It still is, yeah. Like
so you just don't need a laptop.
So what I ended up doing was I bought a $100 Android tablet. That's what I did to fix my need for. I needed something to browse on, and I needed something for watching videos. I wanted something obviously bigger than my phone.
But you didn't. If I'm correct, you didn't get a keyboard for said tablet?
I did not get a external keyboard for that tablet at the time. I do have one now. I just got a really cheap, like $5 one for Christmas. But I don't do. I realize I don't do a whole lot of typing on my device because when I write a paper, I benefit from using the college computers, because there's less distractions there because it's not my computer.
Of course, right.
So when I, like, the occasional time that I have to go sit down and write an essay, I don't use my own personal device for that anyway. So I didn't need a keyboard, right? I needed something. I had a very specific set of things I was looking for. So that's where I'm like, an Android tablet could be a good choice for you, but I don't think it's automatically the right one. Like, I don't recommend it because your list of requirements, the things you need, is different from what I need. Right, you are doing homework on it. You are going to want to type on it. You're going to want to be able to have multiple browser pages open, and you need something with a little more operating speed.
Well, one of the biggest pulls on the device is going to be the fact that I want to run Excel on that device.
Mm-hmm.
And Excel can be a monster of a program if you start getting into huge amounts of data.
Yes.
And that's the biggest thing computing-wise that this device is probably going to do.
Yeah, and so there are Android tablets that can do that have, you know, the necessary, like, RAM and processor to do a large Excel thing, but those are expensive.
Right.
A $100 tablet is not going to do. Like,
exactly.
You don't want to do that. That's
so
not what it's for.
I'm leaning towards the MacBook or the Windows laptop because I feel like I'll get the better computing out of that.
Oh, you know what?
For Excel.
And I just remember, have you looked into Chromebooks at all?
Oh, I did forget about those as well.
Because they are heavily student-focused.
Right.
So I would assume they must run Excel.
And they do look very nice.
They look very nice. They feel nice because
you know what?
I'm
gonna look this up right now because I just got to know what the general price range on this is.
I know they have, like, and that's the other.
I can't believe I forgot about Chromebooks.
Right, like
duh.
I'm sitting
here
thinking, like, this is like they invented Chromebook to solve your problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were thinking about you when they made this device. So hopefully they did it right, and this should work for you. Right? They're more because it's gonna have a full keyboard. They start at around like $150 for the cheapest base model. And then just go up from there depending on how much hard drive space and processing power you want. The other thing that's cool is they're totally cloud-based, or more or less. So, like, they're built to keep all of your files in the cloud. So they'll have, like, only a 16 or 32 gigabyte SSD. So, like, what's on there?
But then you have to pay for.
They give you. I'm trying to think. I think the Chromebooks come with some sort of cloud storage. Automatically, and then just Google gives you 15 gigabytes for free.
Wait, the Chromebooks, they run a different operating system?
Yes, they run Chrome OS.
See, I really know nothing about Chromebooks.
So I know very little. I don't own one, obviously, so I don't know a whole lot, but I do know some. Yeah, so they run Chrome OS, which is slowly blending with Android, which is actually kind of cool, but it's still... So it is running, you know, it's going to have, like, PC level hardware on there, and it's built, they're built for students. They're built slightly more durable, so if you drop it, you don't necessarily have to worry as much about breaking it. They're built with, you know, like, it doesn't have a fancy 4K display or anything on there, right? I mean, it's like a 720p screen usually, you know, with, like, a 480p webcam, right? So, like, they do go cheap on the parts that students don't need. Right, they're intentional. Like, it's definitely not a gaming computer at all. But that's why you're not throwing away your Alienware. Right? You'll still be able to use that at home. But this way, you have something that's light and portable and fast. Right, it works great with the Chrome browser. Right, it's designed. So they designed the operating system, and they worked at some level with the manufacturers to make the device good.
So what's the Chromebook OS? Do you know anything about it?
I have a little bit of experience with it. I've used it a couple times. It is reminiscent of Windows. Like, it'll feel pretty comfortable. Like, you're not really, like, it's not that different. It's mostly if you're used to like all of the ultra customization and the layers upon layers of menus within Windows and all of the like coding and whatnot you can do, like it doesn't. They stripped some of that kind of stuff out and made it just about using it. So like you're not but like all your programs are there. They're in the taskbar at the bottom, and you have a desktop, and like it does feel it feels more like Windows than Mac OS, but it is still its own operating system.
So Chromebooks are produced by, it looks like, other companies still?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
They're still made by other manufacturers. So the hardware comes from like Acer or
That's
Samsung
interesting.
or whoever else, but the operating system comes from Google.
So I see here they have like, this is it looks fairly light. It's like a lighter white color, which I like. It looks nice. It's that Apple-esque feel that I appreciate. It's a 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's got a 2.16 gigahertz processor.
Okay.
16 gigabyte solid state drive, which that's nice.
Yeah.
Solid state drive. Words.
Yeah. That's why we all just go with SSD.
Yeah, SSD. Those are great. So it's pretty for $250.
Is that like the MSRP, right? Is that like the brand
yes,
new
that is
price?
that is from Best Buy.
Okay. Yeah. So you should hopefully be able to find a little better deal somewhere else.
Right.
Right.
So these look like a good potential, maybe grab a used one for $100 kind of thing, something that will get me through for now.
Yeah.
And that's within budget range, in my opinion. $100 nice little looking Chromebook that's pretty light is what I need.
Yeah.
Wow. So this might make the adventure quicker than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I can't believe, like, we have talked about this outside of this podcast as well, right? We've spent, now probably like 2 hours in total talking about this, and neither of us remembered that, Google already solved this problem, right? Like, we're sitting here talking about exactly. Now I'm thinking about it like, man, maybe I should get a Chromebook too.
They look nice. You get $100 like something just decent, you know. Because at this point, you don't use a computer at all.
Not really.
That's just
personally, I don't. Yeah.
I think that's kind of crazy to me. It's not too insane, but it's like, because I could see it. Like I could see myself almost being there. Yeah. There are just a few occasional times where it's really nice to have a computer, like over a tablet.
Yes.
And I don't know. I just couldn't see myself just not having one. It just doesn't seem realistic at this point for me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy. How does your life work like without needing one? Like how do you figure when you were like when your laptops first started to fail, how did you just decide, well, I'm just not going to have a laptop now? Like
so my laptop kind of slowly faded. So it was like it just stopped being, it basically kept getting slower and slower and slower, like in boot up time and in loading up programs and operating programs and whatnot. I still don't know what I did to it. Part of it's just old age, and it wasn't some fantastic, Alienware or whatever to begin with. So, and it just seemed to age very, very quickly. And so because it kind of faded out, there was no like moment where I just decided like, you know what, I just don't need a computer anymore. It just got so slow that I decided, I'd rather use my phone for this. And that kept happening when I was like, oh, I'm going to check my email. Oh, it'll take like, 2 or 3 minutes to load it up on my computer, or I can just do it on my phone. And so I just did it on my phone. And then I just got used to doing it on my phone and got used to using Android for kind of everything. And so then when it got to the point, when it came to in class, I was like, I need something to take notes on, and typing on my phone for long periods of time is not fun. And so I was like, I think, so I looked into laptops, and I was like, if I only need it to type notes, then why would I spend all this money on a whole bunch of computing power that I don't need? And I had long ago decided to write papers on the college computers just because there are less distractions there.
Right,
So,
I understand
so I was
that.
already not doing that with my laptop anyway. And so I just realized, like, you know what? I don't need a computer. It just slowly creeped up upon me to get to the realization of, like, I don't actually need a computer for really anything. And the few every once in a while kind of times that I do, like, my dad still has, I live at my dad's house and he still has a desktop. So occasionally if there's like some, form I need to fill out that I can't do on my, on my phone because it's just not mobile enabled or whatever, then I just go borrow his computer, or I go to the college and use their computers, right? And so I realized, like, I just don't need one. And so I got the Android tablet because I wanted something with a bigger screen, like, especially for, like, watching Netflix and YouTube and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, this 5-inch phone screen is nice, but I want something bigger. So I got a 10-inch Lenovo Tab 3. And it's nice. It is taking care of me. It's definitely aged a little bit now that it's getting to be a year old, but it still does work. It does the things I need it to do. Thankfully, I'm just not super demanding on it. So as it ages, it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't do as much as it used to, but I don't need it to do those things anyway.
That's interesting. It's still just weird to me, though. I guess I understand, but...
Yeah. It is weird to me, too. I still, like, I'll think about it, like, I really don't have a computer. How am I living? Like, you ask that question, and it's a good question. How do I live life without a computer? And the answer is, I don't know.
Well, I
Somehow
mean,
I just
phones
don't need
are
Yeah.
computers,
Yeah,
but
right. Yeah.
but
I mean, if we're talking, like, could I live my life without a phone, tablet, or computer? Oh, definitely not. Major.
I mean, you
major
could,
parts
but
of what I do, like, my life would be extremely different.
exactly,
Right?
that's true.
And much worse, right? But yeah, no. So I've just transitioned into doing a lot of tasks on my phone and my tablet.
So I'm looking here still. I'm
Yeah.
still, while I'm listening to you
Yeah.
and stuff, I'm still
What do you-
scrolling through these Chromebooks here. I'm finding that same ish style Chromebook for about $100, which
Okay.
is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Or it's not. Oh, no, actually, it has a worse processor. It's 1.4 gigahertz.
Okay.
So it's like, it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
It might be acceptable.
Yeah, and this is where we start to pass out of my level of expertise as far as, like, how many gigahertz do you need to run a large Excel file? The answer is, I have no idea.
Right. So that would be a thing to do some
That would be a
research
thing
on.
to do some
But
research
solid
on.
state drives do help
yeah.
speed computers
Okay.
significantly.
Okay.
So at this time, I currently don't have one,
Mhm.
which is sad, but because they are just superior in every way, and every computer should have a solid state drive from now on.
I agree.
That's
And
just-
from everything I have looked up, I totally agree. SSDs are the future, and I'm glad that everyone is accepting that future.
Right.
And
So,
it is the transition is happening, and that makes me happy.
but I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking I can get something for about $100, and it would be
Okay.
very bare bones,
Yeah.
but it would probably be able to accomplish what I want and have a decent feel and look.
Yeah.
And that's
And I think that is an important part of, and a principle that I think is super important, is compartmentalization of devices. And that is, like, this device does its thing, and I know exactly what the thing this device is for. And if it doesn't do other things, I don't care, because it does the thing that I need it to do. Right? So, like, this laptop that you're talking about has a very narrow set of things that it does, which is run Excel and run a browser. So as long as it meets the requirements of doing those things, then it does those things. And you don't have to worry about, like, oh, can I game on it? You don't need to. That's what a different device is for, right? Like, if you want a game, you wouldn't get a Chromebook, right? That's why you have your Alienware. And so, like, that idea of, like, compartmentalizing out, like, okay, what is this device for, and what is this device for, like, is great. I mean, it's a principle. It's really the principle of specialization, which is what allows civilization to occur. Right, the idea that, like, we don't need everyone to do everything. I don't need every device to do everything.
right.
I am much better off, like, I will greatly benefit from allowing one device to be good at one thing, or one person to be good at one thing. And as long as and then together as a whole, those individual pieces turn into a good life for me or a good civilization. Right? So if we allow one person to do the farming, or one computer to do all the email, or one computer to do all the gaming, then none of the other computers have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about having devices that can do that. And so that benefits me in that I can get less expensive devices to do other things, or more specialized devices to do another thing. So I think that's a really important principle when looking at what device you're going to get, is to have a clear picture of what do you want it to do, and then only get something that does those things, but get the device that is the best at those things, and ignore everything else. Because there are tons of, like, manufacturers are great at throwing in little features that seem cool, and are like, oh, it'd be so cool if, like, oh look, this thing does this and this. Right, but it's going to suffer from trying to do two things.
That's true.
But manufacturers want you to buy it because they want you to buy their thing. And so they're trying to make themselves look better by like, oh yeah, look, we threw in this great camera on our tablet. Right? But it's a tablet. No one uses a tablet for a camera. Like, I'm not going to pay extra money to have a better camera on my tablet. Right? That's just a waste.
Right.
So I need to care about, like, oh, I don't take pictures with my tablet. I don't care what the cameras are on my tablet. I didn't even look at that specification when I was looking up a tablet, because I have never used either the front-facing or the rear-facing camera on my tablet. Not once. I've had it for a year. I don't care what the cameras are like.
I mean, have you used your phone camera in that amount of time?
Absolutely, all the time.
You use it a lot?
Yeah, I use it a lot. That is the only camera that I own.
Because I'm one of those people who doesn't really take any pictures. So cameras are basically something I don't even look at this point.
Okay.
Especially considering so many of them are over megapixel counts that are just stupid, and you're like, our eyes can barely notice the difference between this one and this one. So
true.
I don't really care what the camera says it is. I'm not even gonna look at that when I consider almost any device. So
yeah, so like for me, I do take pictures. I do like knowing that I can take a decent picture, and so I do pay attention to the camera specifications on my phone, but I know that my phone is the only thing I'm going to take pictures with.
Right.
So I only care about it on that device, right? It is specialized. You know, my phone is very specific for this, this, and this. So I do, Jared, have one thing that I want to show you, and I pulled up a couple of Google images. So this is, for the listeners, you can look this up.
You should send that to me after.
Razer's Project Linda. And so, Jared, I don't think you've ever heard of this.
Okay, so I see a laptop sitting here.
Yep.
And it has some things on the screen. It looks, and those same things appear to be on the mouse pad of the laptop.
Yeah. So that's what you would think, right? And so here we have just another picture of basically the same thing, but that's not actually the mouse pad. That is the Razer phone that Razer released a while ago with really great specifications. So what Project Linda is essentially a laptop case for the Razer phone.
Wow.
And so the Razer phone will go into where the trackpad would be, and it turns into the trackpad for the computer. So your touchscreen doesn't turn off. It's screen up, and that is the trackpad for the laptop. And then, so it runs...
This actually very much interests me.
Right? So it's a custom version of their OS that's like based on Android, but feels more like a desktop, so that when you plug it into the laptop, it'll go with that. And so then it's a laptop. It works like a normal laptop, but yet you just hit a button and pull your phone out, and then your phone gets pulled out. I think there is a battery built into the laptop that'll charge your phone, and some extra hard drive space as well.
Okay.
So
That's
is
good.
At the moment, it is a concept product. It is not. There's no release date or anything yet. It's something that Razer showed off at CES.
Interesting.
Earlier this year or late last year. They showed it off. So there is a working prototype. So it does work, and people were able to play with it. But there is no word yet on whether or not it will actually be released into the world as a real product. However, the Razer phone is a real product that you can buy. It's a great flagship device.
See, now when I look at this laptop looks beautiful. I mean, it looks great. The phone itself, I don't exactly like that much. It's just,
It's very boxy.
Yes, I don't know if I like how boxy it is. It's so square. It's like so edged, but I don't know. I think I could get used to it. It's just for the longest times I've had a rounded phone. That's just what I'm used to, I guess. So maybe it's not that I don't even like it. It's just something that I haven't seen yet. So I'm kind of against it, like already, because it's not what I'm used to.
Okay.
Which is not something that I'm going to continue. Like, I'll try to get used to it and see if I actually do just like this thing.
Yeah.
And it's not just my prejudice that's like, ooh, square phone. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah. There are definitely some really cool things about it as a laptop thing. Now, I mean, everybody's speculating that the price on this thing, like, so the Razer phone itself, I believe, is right around $700 to $800. And then the laptop case in addition, I think people are talking it's going to be around another $400 or $500. So I don't think this is a real solution for you,
right?
Necessarily,
definitely not.
way outside of your price range. But it is a really cool thing, and like they did some really cool stuff with it. So like the slot, if you see in the front, is actually there for where the power button on the phone itself is on the side of the phone, and that is also the fingerprint reader. And so they left a slot so you can use the fingerprint reader on your laptop when it's in the laptop dock.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Also, the laptop dock does not have any speakers in it. It still uses the speakers from the phone.
Ooh.
But the phone has dual speakers, like on either side of the screen, that are really good. They are, like, everyone has pretty much agreed this is the best speaker on a phone ever.
Okay.
Because like Razer was very intentional about making this phone for gaming. It's a gaming phone. It has 120 hertz refresh rate on the screen.
Oh my!
Right, it is fantastic. It's a 2K display. It has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery.
That's just insane.
It's a Razer phone. It came like everything you would imagine Razer was going to put in this phone. It's there.
This is like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, down the road, I could really see myself getting one of these. Like,
one day when
if
I'm
it
a
is,
yeah,
not even that. More so if it's like 5 years after release. Well, not even. That's way too long. It would be outdated by then. But maybe 3 years after release, and the price has gone down significantly for used ones.
Oh, sure.
Grab a used one, maybe. It depends though, because phones are so bad to get used.
Yes.
So it really, but it does look like a very interesting product. Definitely not a solution to my problem at all, in any means, not even close.
No. But it is very...
It's definitely interesting.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool idea.
It's pretty sexy.
It is sexy. I agree. Just like MacBooks.
Yes.
It's beautiful. So much so.
Yeah. Good job, Linda. You're beautiful.
Yeah. Proud of you. You can get there. I bet about a lot of people will buy that product.
Oh yeah, everyone's talking about it. Like, Razer, when are you going to make this laptop thing a reality? I already have the phone. Give me the laptop.
Right. It would be outrageous if they didn't release this, because I'm sure so many people are designing this.
Razer is known for releasing things in or showing off projects at CES and then never making them into real products. Last year at CES, I think their thing was the laptop that had 3 monitors built into it.
Oh yes.
So like you pulled it up and then the 3.
But some people have actually done that
on either side. So some people made it into made their own.
But Razer didn't.
Razer did not release that. That was a project that went nowhere because it would have been crazy expensive.
Right.
But
it's just not that realistic of a
just
product.
not that
There's going to be
realistic.
such a small market.
Yeah.
And...
So like this one does seem like it has more of a chance of becoming a real product because it's a lot more reasonable of a product. It's not like an insane, like crazy idea. Like, oh yeah, let's have a laptop with 3 monitors,
3 fold-out screens.
There. Yeah, 3 fold-out screens. Like, okay, yeah, that's pretty crazy,
yeah,
right? Like, it's easy to look at that one and be like, that's just crazy. But this one is not crazy. Like, laptop docks have existed before for other phones. Never really worked out well. But it has been tried before, and I think if anyone was going to succeed, it would be Razer that would succeed at this.
It's interesting. It's an interesting opinion. But I want to go back to, we were talking a little bit about, we have specific uses for our devices.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this device is going to do this thing that I need it to do. Like, if I got a Chromebook, it would be just for at max running Excel and running some homework programs on the browser, and that would be it. That would be like the whole use of it. And my other computer would be for my gaming still. And so with having devices like that that are for different uses, I think it's interesting if we bring up, what if you have devices that have the same uses, but you have multiple? Because I think one of the biggest reasons to do this is honestly location.
Okay.
If you have a pair of, I don't know, earbuds, for example, because they're cheap. This is especially for cheap things too. For expensive things, it starts to have very diminishing return, in my opinion.
Yes.
But for something cheap, like headphones, you have a pair in your bedroom. You have a pair in your car.
Yep.
You maybe have a pair in the drawer at your office, if you have an office, or the drawer at a place where you go a lot. And that's just useful because if you ever forget or ever, you just don't have to carry around earbuds with you even. You can just grab them from wherever you're at the current moment.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. That principle of redundancy is something for cheaper products that I am definitely a huge fan of, huge proponent of. I mean, especially you brought up headphones. I think that was intentional because I am kind of the king of having headphones. I probably own, like right now, I could count probably at least 20 different pairs of earbuds that I have. Right, all of them are super cheap, like $10 or less. But yeah, for exactly what you're talking about, right? Like everything you said, yeah. I have one. I have probably 10 scattered throughout my house, and at any given time I probably have like 3 pairs in my car, and then 1 pair in my backpack, which is on my person. So like when I'm at home, right, I have the 1 in my backpack, the 1 in my car, the 3 at my house, right? Like at any given time I have at least 2 pairs of earbuds on me, like within 100 feet of me, because like you said, with cheap stuff, redundancy is fantastic because sometimes they break, sometimes they get lost, and sometimes you want to share. Right? Like it's totally useful to follow the rule. I was taught it as the rule of 2, which is that 2 is 1 and 1 is none, because you never know what's going to happen. And especially stuff like headphones or adapters or chargers, right? That's another thing. I always have multiple chargers with me because you never know when you're going to need another one.
Right.
It's
See,
always useful.
Now the interesting thing here is I actually completely agree with this.
Okay.
I've heard of the rule of 2 before. I think redundant, cheap devices is great.
Yeah.
I don't like expensive. Like I'm not really going to go into that right this second, but when you're talking about buying like 3 laptops or something, 1 for your office, 1 for home, and 1 for your car, like no, that's just outrageous in my opinion.
That's too far.
But for cheap things, I totally agree, and I think if you have 2 earbuds, then you actually have 1 pair of earbuds, and that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But when it comes to practice, I'm actually that person who doesn't do that at all. And I have 1 pair of in-use earbuds. I probably have a couple other pairs laying around, but I literally never use them, and they're never sitting in an extra location where they'd be helpful to me.
Yeah.
So I really just use 1 pair that I always just kind of carry around on my person, actually.
Okay.
And they're just pretty light, and I don't really notice them. And at this point, it's just a habit that I just have them in my pocket.
Yeah.
So it's not really that big a deal to me to just have them all the time.
Okay.
But I do agree with this rule, and in the future I might change that and actually have some earbuds in my car and such. But
yeah, I think after we're done recording, I'm going to send you the link to the eBay listing where I get my earbuds. I get they're the original Samsung earbuds that came with like the Galaxy S7.
Oh yeah, those are the ones I use now. That's great.
Yeah, so like I found some dude on eBay who's selling them for like $2 or $3 a piece.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, and so I just buy them like 5 at a time. And
Yeah.
it's like I'll just because why not?
Right.
And so then, and the other thing like that this is useful for is like sometimes I'll be out and about. Like I think I'm trying to get to. Now this one you may think is taking it a little too far.
Probably.
But what I want to get to is where I have a brand new unopened package of them in my car. So because there have been times where I've been out and about and somebody was like, "Oh man, I don't have any earbuds." I would love to be able to be like, here's a brand new pair. I just carry these with me so that I can share. right? Because they're $2, right? Like that, but that's something that can totally, especially like when you're on a college campus, and if you've left your earbuds at home, you're stuck. Like for the next 3 classes or whatever, you have no earbuds. Like that really stinks.
That does stink.
And the campus bookstore is happy to exploit that and sell you, like $20 earbuds, and that's like all they have. Right?
They're so.
Yeah.
I am outraged at college campuses just exploiting, just like pumping students for ridiculous. They don't have the money. Like, why can't you just sell a thing for a reasonable turnaround and not an outrageous turnaround? I am like livid about this. This is so not right. It is like.
I love how outraged you are at this, because I'm just sitting here like, I am so proud of college campuses.
I know why they do it and why they can do it,
Jared,
but that's
because capitalism. It's how
just
the
because you
works.
Can exploit people doesn't mean you should. But you're right. That is how capitalism works.
Yeah,
but
yeah. They exploit the misfortune of others of forgetting their earbuds at home, right? Like, it's not like... Right, and they just know that they're not going to sell very many pairs, right? Like, almost nobody goes to a campus bookstore to buy earbuds, but the few people who do get suckered in and have to pay whatever it takes, because you can't be that rude person who's watching YouTube videos without headphones on a campus, like inside the campus cafeteria or whatever. Like, you definitely can't do that.
Right.
Those people are terrible. Okay, I know some of you exist. If any of you are listening, stop it. Right? Get the $3 earbuds.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you're listening to this right now on a college campus without earbuds, stop listening. You're just a rude human being.
Well, don't stop listening though. Like, you can listen to us, spread us around your college campus, but don't listen to anything.
No, you just need to wait, and then you can tell people about us.
Yeah, tell people about us. Have a listening party, right? Most campuses have rooms in the library that you can rent out for group projects. Rent out one of those rooms and have a listening party of our podcast.
Sure.
That
I'm
is
okay
perfectly
with
acceptable. You don't need headphones for that. You rented a room with a shut door. Like, that's perfectly acceptable. You should do that. If you're listening to this podcast without headphones on a college campus, go rent a room at your library and invite your friends. I think that's the way to go about it.
I heavily encourage this. I think this is a great idea. I think this is a great way to make new relationships and connect with people.
Right.
And,
what better way?
And you could get some ways into companies in the future if you have relationships with people. If they might be able to get you a job. This is just really valuable.
Yeah.
Like,
you never know. The person the people you invite to your listening party, one of them might be the guy who's going to cure cancer. Wouldn't you love to know?
Why we have to go back to this? Really?
We're gonna keep going back to this. I think this is gonna
No. This is just for this episode. It's not gonna come back next time.
Are you saying that this is the cancerous episode, Jared? Is that what you're saying?
I'm so hesitant to answer.
See how I have trapped you. Okay, I will release you from the trap. But now, okay, we don't have to talk about cancer anymore.
Okay.
Well,
I think we're nearing the end of this.
How are we going to end this?
This is getting pretty... We got there. I think we've got a good amount of content.
Yeah.
This is a successful first episode, in my opinion.
I agree. I would say let's high five, but I think that would annoy our editor, meaning you.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll silently... Guys, we're high-fiving silently.
Well, it's not quite over. I wouldn't high-five too soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to high-five too soon.
Because...
I take back my silent high-five.
We still have a few minutes left to decide...
Yeah.
What shall we call this podcast?
This is turning into, the Lord of the Rings Return of the King, the, eternally ending thing that just never ends with its 7 different times when you could have ended it, but we're not. Okay. But yeah, no, that sounds good. I like this. I'm saying that, I know that sounds like I'm dissing our own podcast, but no, that's great. Yeah, we're copying one of the greatest movies of all time by not ending.
Right.
Yeah, this is great. Okay,
fine.
So what are we going to name this podcast? What are we going to name it? I feel like I keep coming up with ideas, but I haven't heard any from you.
But you're just missing. You're just
Yeah, but I'm setting you up for success, right? I think you are going to come up with the good one. And it will be because I got the creative juices flowing with all of the bad ones.
It could just be, we could just call it The Good Podcast.
The Good Podcast.
Because it's good. And people should listen to it.
Because it's good. I'm okay with that. I like that.
But it's because...
The Good Podcast.
It's the only
Yeah, we're the only. Well,
good. There are some like
there are some great
exceptional.
There's some
ones out there.
exceptional.
Yeah,
ones.
they're
Okay,
like
yeah.
higher
We'll use
than
a
us,
different word.
but
Okay.
we're the good.
Yeah,
podcast.
I like that. I like that. That's
Right.
that's like a great example of humble bragging.
Exactly.
Right.
We're not like
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
there
we're
are
not
people
amazing.
better than us,
Yeah.
but
But
we
good.
are like good, and
Yeah.
we are worth listening
Exactly.
to. We're like the good
That's true.
podcast.
Yeah, we're the podcast you listen to while you're waiting for the next episode of the excellent podcast to come out.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
think that's
still
it. We're
it's
the
still
good
just you're
Yeah.
still pretty entertained.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
just
right. We're like the like it's not like elevator music where you're like waiting for your life to continue and it's terrible.
yeah, that's
right.
the-
We're not that. We're not the elevator music podcast. No, we're the good podcast. We're
Exactly.
like that waiting room that has like that really pumping music that's just like you're like, yeah, this is great. I'm glad I got to spend a few minutes here waiting for my meeting to
I've
start.
never been sitting in.
You've never experienced this?
No.
I've only experienced this like once, but I have been in a waiting room where they like had really good music playing or whatever, and I was like, wow, this is actually great. Like I'm actually like, this is fine. I'm okay with this wait. Yeah, we are the ones who get you through the wait because I promise, guys, we're waiting too for the next episode of our favorite podcast to come out. I'm just kidding. Our favorite podcast is this one because we're in this one. But I mean,
Exactly.
we're waiting for the next episode of the excellent
This-
podcast. to
So
come out.
I guess we can go ahead and just stick with that. I mean, it's as good a name as any.
Yeah.
it's-
as good a name as any.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just so fitting for
Exactly.
the good podcast.
Yeah.
It's just what it
It's a
should be.
good fit.
Yeah. Yes, it is. All right. Okay. I should have had a V8. That's what I'm doing right now. Should I?
Should have had a V8.
Yeah.
Really?
That's really old.
That is really old.
That's great.
That okay.
Just bring that back.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
should put some pictures.
I feel like no one's gonna be able to tell how old we are, and I think that's part of the mystery of this podcast because we keep talking about how like we're in college, but then you are making references from like early 2000s TV commercials.
Yeah,
or,
but and you still live with your dad.
that's true.
That's interesting. So.
Yeah, so no one knows how old we are. This is great. Can't wait to see all the speculations.
So-
on the subreddit.
The good podcast it is. It's just so fitting.
The good podcast.
So that's what this is now.
Yeah.
And
So-
I guess we'll have some feedback then.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's right. Feedback doesn't exactly matter on the first episode.
Because we're
because-
gonna be recording a couple.
Yeah,
of
we're
episodes.
pre-recording the first
Yeah.
3 episodes before this release.
Yes.
So feedback won't start till the 4th episode anyway.
Yeah.
And by then I should really have it. I'll have it already made by at least the 3rd episode, if not by the 2nd episode.
Yeah.
And then I'll advertise exactly what that Reddit is.
Yep.
So you can give feedback.
We're gonna do this, guys. We're gonna have a subreddit.
So subreddit.
Let's do it. I
I mean,
guess
Reddit's
I'm gonna
pretty
have to
nice.
learn how to use Reddit. I
It's-
realize like
It's not bad.
I'm sure it's not that hard.
It's fine.
But
So anyway,
anyway,
but we did come to the conclusion of the good podcast.
it's a good podcast.
I feel like it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's just
It's good.
it suits
like, it's
everything
just
we were
good.
talking about because it's not like an exceptional name.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it fits perfectly.
I like this.
All right. Well, goodbye, Josh.
Goodbye, Jared.